Welcome to Buddhist Wisdom Daily. Today we're going to discuss a seemingly simple question: where should you store your money in your home? But in true Buddhist fashion, we will approach this question not just from a material standpoint, but from an energetic one. In Buddhist philosophy, we understand that everything around us, including money, holds energy. How we interact with that energy can affect not only our financial well-being, but also our emotional and spiritual state. So if you've been feeling like wealth slips through your fingers no matter how hard you work, this video might just offer some insight. Before we dive in, take a moment to reflect. Am I in harmony with the flow of energy around me? You might want to jot down your thoughts or affirmations in the comments, like, I am open to the abundance the universe offers, or my finances flow smoothly and steadily. Remember to like and subscribe to stay connected to this ongoing journey toward mindful prosperity. In Buddhism, we believe that every space we inhabit carries its own energetic vibration. Our homes, as extensions of ourselves, are a reflection of this. The way we organize our physical space impacts how the energy of prosperity, health, and peace flows. Just as a calm mind leads to clarity, a balanced home leads to a balanced life. When it comes to money, it is not just an object. It is a symbol of energy, a reflection of our connection to the universe in the material world. Improper handling or placement of money in your home can disturb the flow of this energy, making it harder to attract and hold on to wealth. 1. The kitchen. The kitchen is often referred to as the heart of the home. It is a space where warmth, nourishment, and family connections are fostered. In many cultural traditions, including Feng Shui, the kitchen is associated with the fire element, a force that provides energy and vitality. In the Buddhist tradition, fire represents transformation and power, but it also embodies an element that, when uncontrolled, can lead to destruction. In Buddhism, harmony is essential for the flow of good fortune. The Buddha's teachings remind us that balance, both mental and physical, is the key to peace and prosperity. The fire element, while essential in many aspects of life, creates imbalance when placed in conflict with other elements. Money in particular is linked with the metal element, which is inherently in opposition to fire. When we place our money near heat sources, like stoves, ovens, or microwaves, the energetic flow is disrupted and wealth becomes unstable. This concept of balance was illustrated in a Buddhist story about a merchant. The merchant had acquired a significant amount of wealth and out of convenience kept it near the kitchen stove. One day a fire broke out in the kitchen, damaging his savings and all the precious possessions he had accumulated. He sought the advice of a Buddhist monk who said, "Fire can cook food and transform things, but it is not a place for your wealth. Wealth, like a garden, needs stability to grow. When exposed to excessive heat, it withers and fades." The merchant took this lesson to heart. Just as we care for our gardens by ensuring the right conditions for growth, proper sunlight, water, and nutrients, so too should we care for our wealth by placing it in an environment where it can flourish without being threatened by external forces. In our own lives, placing money near fire elements can lead to the feeling that our wealth is always slipping away. It can create an environment where financial stability feels fleeting. The kitchen should, therefore, remain a place of nourishment, both physically and mentally. Let it be a space that nurtures and supports rather than consumes. 2. The bathroom and damp areas. In Buddhism, water is seen as a symbol of purification, renewal, and emotional healing. It is believed to flow freely, washing away impurities from the mind and spirit. However, in Feng Shui and other cultural teachings, damp or wet areas, such as bathrooms and laundry rooms, are seen as energy zones that can easily disrupt stability. These spaces, while essential, carry a sense of instability that can, metaphorically, wash away the very things we wish to preserve, like our financial resources. Water can cleanse, but it also has the power to take things away, just as it can erode the strength of mountains over time. In the case of money, storing it in damp or unstable areas of the home can create a sense of financial leakage. Money placed in these areas may seem to disappear faster than it accumulates. The energy in these spaces becomes unpredictable and unstable, much like the ebb and flow of a rushing stream. The Buddha often taught us about impermanence, the idea that all things, including wealth, are temporary and subject to change. In a sense, placing money in damp or unstable spaces is like attaching ourselves too strongly to something that is constantly shifting. The Buddha reminds us, just as the waters flow and shift, so too does life and its circumstances. Attach not to what flows away. In the case of money, storing it in areas where water flows or where dampness is prevalent can lead to a sense of uncertainty. Money, like the river, may slip away if it is not properly contained or managed. To ensure that wealth stays with us, we must place it in environments where stability reigns. There is an old story of a man who kept his savings in a drawer near the bathroom. Over time, he began to notice that no matter how hard he worked, his wealth never seemed to grow. One day, he consulted a wise monk who told him, "Water may purify, but it also takes away. Just as you would not store valuable goods in a place prone to flooding, do not store your wealth in an area where it is susceptible to being washed away." This advice struck a chord with the man, and he moved his wealth to a safer, more stable space. Over time, he noticed that his financial situation improved, not because of any immediate change in income, but because he had created a stable environment for his money to thrive. 3. Near the front door. The front door of your home is not just a physical entryway, it's a symbolic gateway where energy flows in and out. In Buddhist philosophy, we understand that the energy of a space is crucial to our overall well-being. The energy that enters our home through the front door is a reflection of what we welcome into our lives, be it opportunities, abundance, or even challenges. When we store money near the front door, we create a pathway that allows it to leave just as quickly as it enters. In Buddhism, we are taught to be mindful of the energy we invite into our lives. The front door should be a space that welcomes opportunities and abundance, not a place that allows financial energy to escape. When money is stored near the front door, it becomes susceptible to the constant movement of people and energy. The turbulence created by this activity can lead to instability in our financial circumstances. The Buddha frequently spoke of the importance of creating a stable, peaceful environment to support our spiritual and material well-being. Where there is no peace within, there can be no peace without. This teaching is particularly relevant when it comes to the front door of the home. A space that is constantly in motion, where people come and go, cannot support the kind of stillness and stability needed for wealth to accumulate and grow. If you store money near this area, the constant flow of energy will make it difficult for your financial resources to settle and remain stable. There is a famous Buddhist story about a wealthy merchant who kept his money near the front door of his home. One day, a monk visited the merchant and asked him where his wealth was stored. The merchant proudly showed him the place near the front door, thinking it was secure. The monk, however, looked at him with gentle eyes and said, "The door is where things come and go, but wealth, like wisdom, requires a still place to rest. If you leave it near the door, it will leave you just as easily as it arrived." The merchant, after reflecting on the monk's words, moved his wealth to a quieter, more secure place. He found that over time, his financial situation improved, not through a sudden windfall, but through the stability and peace he had created in his home. Wealth, like wisdom, grows best when allowed to settle and rest in a stable environment. In our earlier discussions, we examined what to avoid when storing money, areas filled with imbalance or conflicting energy. Now let's shift our focus to the ideal way to store money according to Buddhist wisdom. Wealth in Buddhism is not just about accumulating material possessions. It's about creating balance, stability, and mindful management of resources. When we handle our wealth with care and intention, we align ourselves with the natural flow of prosperity. One powerful way to symbolize this balance and security is through the use of a safe. A safe, when placed properly, becomes more than just a container for money. It represents the protection, preservation, and growth of financial energy. Just as the Buddha taught that we should protect our minds from distractions and negative influences, we must also protect our financial resources in a way that allows them to thrive. A Buddhist monk once shared a story of a young man who sought enlightenment and prosperity. The young man, eager to make his wealth grow, would place his savings wherever was convenient, on tables, in drawers, or tucked away in cabinets. But despite his hard work, his wealth never seemed to grow, and he found himself in a constant struggle with his finances. The monk, seeing the young man's frustration, took him aside and said, "Wealth, like your mind, requires stability and care. When you place it in unstable places, it cannot grow. A garden left untended withers. The same is true for your wealth. Treat it with respect, place it in a safe space, and it will grow like the lotus in muddy waters, steadily, calmly, and without distraction." This wisdom underscores the importance of treating wealth with reverence and mindfulness. A safe in this context becomes a symbol of both protection and growth, a quiet space that honors the financial energy within it. A safe is not just for storing cash, it's about creating an environment in which prosperity can grow. When we place our money in a safe, we are demonstrating our intent to manage our resources carefully, with respect, and with mindfulness. Just as the Buddha instructed his followers to protect their hearts and minds from negative influences, we must protect our wealth by placing it in spaces that support its growth and stability. Buddhism teaches us that all things in life are interconnected and interdependent, and that harmony with the environment is essential to prosperity. When we align our surroundings with mindful intention, we activate the natural flow of positive energy. So, where should you place your safe to ensure the energy of wealth can flow freely and grow steadily? The most auspicious location for your safe, according to both Feng Shui and Buddhist wisdom, is the southeast corner of your home or room. This area is traditionally associated with wealth and expansion. The southeast corner represents the wood element, which complements the metal energy of a safe. Metal, as we know, is associated with wealth, and wood represents growth. The interaction between these two elements creates a harmonious balance that is conducive to financial growth. In the Buddhist text, the Lotus Sutra, it is said, "Just as a seed needs the right soil, water, and sunlight to grow, so too does wealth need the right environment to flourish." When we place our safe in the southeast, we align our financial energy with this harmonious balance, allowing our resources to grow steadily. However, it's not just about the location, it's also about the energy around the safe. The space where you place your safe should be clean, dry, and undisturbed. Much like the quiet mind that can meditate without distraction, your safe should rest in an environment where the energy is stable and peaceful. Avoid placing it near high-traffic areas, like the front door or near electronics, which can disrupt the flow of energy. Whether in your home office or bedroom, ensure that the safe is placed in a quiet, stable area that will allow its energy to remain intact. There's a story of a wealthy merchant who was known for his generosity and wisdom. He had accumulated a vast fortune over the years, and yet he never seemed to lose sight of the Buddhist teachings that had helped him. One day, a young apprentice asked him the secret to his prosperity. The merchant smiled and said, "I place my wealth where the energy flows in harmony, toward the southeast. It is the place where wealth grows, where abundance is nurtured, and where prosperity has room to expand." By aligning his wealth with the southeast, the merchant created an environment where his prosperity could not only remain intact, but grow over time. This practice, rooted in mindfulness and intention, allowed him to manage his wealth in a way that aligned with the natural flow of energy. In Buddhism, ritual is an essential practice to maintain balance in our lives. Rituals are a way to bring mindfulness into our daily routines, and they help us align our actions with our intentions. This same principle applies to how we handle our financial energy. When you place your money inside the safe, it should not be a mindless act. Just as a Buddhist practitioner takes time to set their intention during meditation, you should take a moment to affirm your abundance and your commitment to managing your wealth with mindfulness. One way to enhance the energy of your safe is by placing symbolic objects that represent wealth and prosperity. These objects are not mere decorations. They carry their own energy, which can help magnify your financial intentions. A popular symbol in both Feng Shui and Buddhism is the money toad, also known as the three-legged toad, which is believed to attract wealth and good fortune. Placing a small jade stone or gold ingot inside the safe can further enhance the energy and activate the flow of prosperity. In Buddhist practice, every object holds symbolic meaning, and every ritual serves to reinforce our intentions. The Buddha once said, "The path to enlightenment is not just through the mind, but through mindful actions." This means that each time you interact with your safe, you are performing a ritual that reinforces your commitment to managing your wealth with care. Whether you place a lucky charm inside, light a candle nearby, or simply take a moment to breathe deeply and reflect on your financial goals, you are activating the energy of prosperity with intention. There is a story of a poor monk who, after years of hardship, was given a small sum of money by a kind benefactor. The monk placed the money in a safe, but he did not simply put it away and forget about it. Every day he would sit in front of the safe, bow, and offer his gratitude for the resources he had been given. He would affirm his intention to use this money wisely with mindfulness and respect. Years later, the monk became known not just for his wealth, but for his wisdom and generosity. He shared his financial resources with others, investing in projects that helped others thrive. The money he had stored in the safe had grown, not just in material value, but in spiritual significance. He had activated its energy through intentionality and mindfulness. As we've explored today, the way you store your money isn't just about physical security, it's about nurturing the energy of prosperity. By aligning your wealth with the right environment, infusing it with mindfulness, and placing it in a space of peace and stability, you open the door to a future of financial growth and abundance. In the Buddhist tradition, wealth is not something to be hoarded, but rather something to be cared for with intention and respect. Just like the Buddha's teachings guide us to live with balance, so too can we guide our wealth to thrive in harmony with the universe. Remember, prosperity is not just a matter of what you have, but of how you cultivate and manage it. So take a moment today to reflect on the spaces around you. Where are you placing your resources, and how can you create a sanctuary for them to grow? By making mindful choices, you can transform your financial energy, allowing it to flow freely and steadily. May you find peace, balance, and lasting abundance as you continue your journey toward prosperity. If you feel inspired, share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's walk this path together with intention and wisdom, creating a life filled with the abundance we truly deserve.